Prospector, the American bison. I'll start by reading this column on the right-hand side. It's the letter from the editor who calls himself the Prospector. He says, "Welcome to the 4th grade and the Prospector Club Junior Historian Program. My name is Lucky Noah, and I'm in charge of writing your newsletters. Although most of the time I'm out in the mountains looking for gold, my mule and I have an office in the basement of the State Historical Museum, which is located in Boise, our state's capital city. This is the first newsletter you will receive as a prospector. Each issue will have exciting stories on a different Idaho history topic and fun activities for you and your class to do. For this month's theme, we've decided to tell you the story of an animal that was very important to the American West. I hope you enjoy the tale of the North American bison." The American bison. Nowadays, if you want to see a wild bison, you'll have to drive across eastern Idaho and into Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. Except for a few parks and ranches across the country, the mighty bison has disappeared from North America. Not too long ago, though, the great beasts ranged across the continent from the forests of the east to the great mountains of Idaho. Herds in the center of North America, an area we call the Great Plains, numbered in the millions. There were so many bison that when they ran across the open plains, the ground shook like an earthquake, earning them the nickname Thunder of the Plains. Many scientists think that the North American bison is related to a bison species from Europe and Asia. It's possible that thousands of years ago, when the Earth was trapped in an ice age and the oceans were lower, that the bison's ancestors walked across a temporary piece of land between what is now Russia and Alaska. Once the bison crossed over to this new continent, they spread out across the land and multiplied into great herds. Like many Ice Age creatures, these early bison were huge. They could weigh up to 5,000 pounds, over 2 tons, and had horns that sometimes stretched over 6 feet long. As conditions changed in North America, the bison changed too. Over thousands of years, the great beast evolved and became smaller. Just because it's tinier than its prehistoric cousins, though, doesn't mean it's a weakling. The bison we see today have an average weight of about 2,000 pounds and an average height of 6 feet. The modern bison can run at a speed of 35 miles per hour, and the bulls can put up a fierce fight when they think they are in danger. Native American hunters had to be clever to bring down these great beasts. Early on, the native people of our continent didn't have guns and horses to help them. They had to rely on their brain power to hunt the buffalo. Native American hunters observed that wolf packs often lived close to the great bison herds. Although the wolves would kill the weaker members of the herd, most of the great animals were so used to the wolves that they ignored their presence. Native Americans used this to their advantage. Hunters would kill a pack of wolves and carefully remove their pelts. Then the hunters would wrap the fur around their head and necks. By crawling on all fours like a dog, the Native Americans could trick the bison into thinking they were wolves. They would creep close to the unsuspecting herds and strike quickly with spears and arrows before the herds stampeded away. Another clever hunting technique was to trick a herd into running off a cliff. Native Americans would look for a herd grazing near a small cliff. By carefully working as a team, the hunters would herd the animals closer and closer to the dangerous drop-off. When they were close, they would scare the animals into running, and the great beasts would charge off the cliff and smash to the ground below. Cliffs where native hunters use this technique are called buffalo jumps. You can visit one today near Challis, Idaho. When European explorers brought horses to North America, hunting styles changed. Now the Native Americans could ride at great speeds and chase the thundering herds. With the help of horses, tribes from all over the continent would travel to the Great Plains to hunt. The Nez Perce and the Shoshone, for example, were known to ride great distances to hunt the herds that grazed on the grassy plains. Bison were a great help to the Native Americans. The meat of one animal was enough to feed a large group of people. The animal's skin and fur could be turned into blankets, clothing, bags, and shelter. The muscle and bones could be turned into tools. Even the bison's horns could be made into cups and spoons. Eventually, the era of the North American bison came to a tragic end. As pioneers and other settlers began to move west, bison hunting increased. Native and European hunters had reduced the herds from millions to near thousands. Today, you have to make a special effort to see bison in the wild. The tale of these great hunts and the eventual rescue of these grand animals from extinction is dramatic and exciting. Unfortunately, it's too long for this issue. We'll have to save that for another day, by Glenn Newkirk. And below you can see the picture, native hunters disguised as wolves, and they are sneaking up on the bison.